in Detroit. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass. You can drown them. And that's what we gotta be. That's who we have to be. Because that's our domain. That is our domain. Because we'll tread water as long as it takes to fucking bury you.
Takes the snap, turns, gives to Montgomery, right side, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome on back to yet another live stream of Motor City Mania. It has been quite a while since I have stepped onto the live stream platform on my own actual channel, but here we are. Game is going to start here in about, 7 or so-ish minutes. First live stream of an actual game for me for, the actual season. So, pretty special moment. I do apologize yet again that I was not able to, do the live stream last week when the Hall of Fame game was on. But, like I said, wasn't feeling too particularly good that night. But I feel a lot better. Also helps the fact that, it's Friday and I don't have anywhere to be tomorrow morning. I don't have to go to work. I don't have to worry about that. So it's like, you know what? I can stay up as late as I want and I can be ready to rock and roll the next morning and don't have to worry about any of that. So definitely looking forward to this game. Definitely looking forward to seeing the players in action, especially while I'm doing it here on live with you guys, such as, Tesla. Still no word yet on whether or not Tate Ratledge and Tyleik Williams are going to play, but there was something that was released by the Lions Twitter page that showed them running drills and, doing all that. So maybe, who knows? But looking forward to all of those guys. Obviously, I want to see Rocky Ya-Sin again. I want to see Hazanin. There's plenty of guys that I want to see. I want to see, if some players are able to, produce and build upon what they did in the last game. I want to see if certain players can, do better than what they were doing in the previous game or in training camp. And according to Mr. here, he says that both Tyleik Williams and Tate Ratledge are playing. So that is definitely going to be something to pay attention to, because I know that there was a lot of anticipation on whether or not they were going to play or not. But it would appear that they indeed are going to play. So definitely looking forward to that. Steve, not too much. Just, getting set to do this live stream, getting set to have fun doing it. And just looking forward to talking some football, getting ready to talk with all you guys. And, just kind of get myself back into the rhythm of, doing these live streams for games yet again. Because I'll tell you what, I know it doesn't sound like a whole hell of a lot, sitting here and talking, but, when a game goes on for 3+ hours, it definitely wears on you a little bit, because you're constantly having to keep up with what everything is doing. And, it doesn't sound like it's a whole hell of a lot, but man, it definitely wears on you. Thank you, Charles Babineau. I definitely appreciate the comment. I'm so thankful that I have, what people are in here so far. And, I'm thankful for everybody that's, dropped comments already, and looking forward to having more and, answering questions as they go along and as they come in, and, just having fun with it. But anyway, I'm going to just say this right now. I'm freaking glad it is Friday. I am so glad it is Friday. Stephanie, I'm definitely feeling a lot better. Like I said, last Thursday or whatever it was when the Hall of Fame game was on, I was not feeling very well. And I typically know when I'm not feeling well when I have to take a nap after I get done with work. And I mean, I'm not an old dog by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm also no spring chicken either. So it's like when I got to take a nap, that tells me something's up. So, because I definitely took a nap and I was like, I'm waking up. I don't feel it right now. So, but in either case, we are here. And at this point, just waiting for the game to tune in, waiting for obviously to hear what obviously news and announcements we're going to be getting as far as all that is concerned, but definitely enjoying everything. So in either case, I hope everybody's had themselves a good week. Hopefully their Friday was, pretty low maintenance, not too crazy, and you all get a chance to really enjoy your weekends here, wherever you might be. I know that my weekend this weekend, got a couple of things going on, but nothing too strenuous. Got to go get the oil changed on my car, and then hopefully, not get too uncomfortable with all the freaking, heat that we're starting to get here in New York. But I'll say this, I'll take a New York summer any day of the week over a Texas one. I'm telling you this right now. If you ever been in Texas, or, you ever been in a place where it's triple digits damn near every day, I feel your pain, and I have a huge amount of respect for those types of people that go through that, because when you got to deal with that kind of heat on a day-to-day basis, it is just like absolutely, a miserable experience. But at this point, all I'm doing is just waiting for the stream to get going on the NFL Plus app, because that's where I'm going to be watching this game from. And right now it still hasn't started, because apparently the broadcast is not going to start until 7 o'clock. So I got to wait for that a little bit. But, once that gets started, we'll obviously have the fun that we enjoy. How's it going, Jay? According to a report from Jeremy Risen, Lions offensive tackle Justin Herron has suffered a pregame injury. No word on the severity, but the Lions are already shorthanded at tackles, so before the game has even started, already have an injury going on there. Stephanie, thank you for the donation. What exactly are you cooking for dinner, I wonder? Probably better than what I had for dinner. My dinner was PB&J sandwiches and some applesauce. I can tell you this right now, Steve. I'm fairly confident that, there will be a lot of Lions fans that want, they want to see Hooker step up. They want to see those backup quarterbacks, really actually doing what they're supposed to do. But we'll see which one decides to have the better game tonight. I can't tell you which one will or not, but we shall find out here. And the stream is officially started. So I'm going to be putting in my little earbud here, because obviously I can't have the stream going on in the background as far as, the noise. Otherwise, they'll pull down the stream, because, NFL copyrights and all that happy nonsense and jazz. But it is what it is. Nick, yeah, I am a fish eater. I do like fish. I like tilapia. I especially like cod, especially for a good fish fry. I love cod. Obviously, I eat tuna as well. Tuna, however, is a very specific thing I have to eat that with, because otherwise I don't eat tuna. And if I were to tell y'all, you guys would probably think I'm a little bit weird. Stream is now getting started. Stream is obviously being provided by NFL Network via the NFL Plus app for me here. Lions are at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium playing the Atlanta Falcons, and they're going to be the away team tonight, while the Falcons are the home team. The Lions are going to be starting with Hendon Hooker at quarterback for the first half, and for the second half, we are going to have Kyle Allen. Reports have already come out that the Lions will be playing Tate Ratledge and also Tyleik Williams tonight. Don't know for how long, but that is the report. That is what we're being told. So we already know who the quarterback starters are going to be for the Lions and players, so likely. As far as the Falcons are concerned, neither Michael Penix is playing tonight, nor is Kirk Cousins. They're going to be going with Easton Stick as one of their quarterbacks, and I can't remember the name of the other quarterback, but those are going to be the two quarterbacks that the Falcons will be playing with tonight. But we are hearing reports that the Falcons' number 1 draft pick will be playing tonight, their linebacker that they drafted, so that'll be interesting to see. How's it going, Dean? Hope you're having yourself a good night and you're enjoying your early start to your, obviously weekend. Friday nights I consider the weekend because, well, there ain't nothing else going on. So just getting ready to have some fun here and watching the broadcast and getting ready for this game to start. I'm going to tell you this right now. The one thing I hate about broadcasts when, you're going through all these pregame is how much time they spend talking about all this stuff pregame. It's like, listen, nobody gives a damn about all that stuff. Just get to the game so that way we can actually watch it and enjoy, football. Oh, Dean, absolutely. Absolutely. I tell you this right now, back when I was playing in high school, there was absolutely no better way to start a weekend than Friday night football. No better way to do it. Be like, hey, you know what? You get done with school, then you know what? You got a couple hours before the game starts, then you play the game, and it's just like, hey, you know what? Perfect way to go into the weekend. Get yourself a dub, spend the next 2 days, resting up, doing whatever the John Brown hell you want to do, and then back to school on Monday. Kind of the same concept here, but instead of school, it's work because now, well, we're in reality. We don't go to school all the time anymore. It's kind of funny, actually. I have not been to school as far as, actual accredited school, and that was my primary, thing at the time since I was in college. And that stopped when I was in 2017 because 2017 was when I graduated from college. So it's been, almost a decade since I was in school as far as from that perspective. I mean, technically, getting in the Army when I was in AIT, I went through an associate's degree in 6 months for that. So that technically also counts, but I wasn't actually physically at a building. I was at a schoolhouse at a fort and, I was getting taught all the nonsense about medical laboratory scientists and pretty much had to absorb that like putting my mouth to a fire hydrant. Van Life, you're in Antarctica, says you. That's quite a ways. What has you in Antarctica, if you don't mind my asking? Just curious. I will just put a disclaimer. I do vape and I do smoke. So you know what? I'm going to say this right now. If you have any problems with me smoking on camera, if you have any problems with me vaping on camera, I do apologize right now, but this is an adult stream. This is not my pre-recorded shows where I don't do that. So if you have a problem with it, either kindly refrain from commenting or, there be the door. Because you're not at all obliged to stay in the stream. I've often thought about possibly taking down this green screen behind me when I do live streams, because I actually have something that my daughter got me a couple of years ago, and I've been wanting to, put up, but unfortunately I haven't, gotten the ability to do it yet, because I keep thinking that this is better, but I really do want to put that up because what my daughter got me was really, really cool, and I haven't had a chance to put it up. But the game is getting set to start. Jake Bates is out there putting the ball on the tee to do the kickoff, so we are about to start here. And with that, the kickoff is away, and it is going to go into the end zone, and the Falcons are going to take a knee, and they are going to come out to the 35, but there is a flag on the play already. So not a good start. Already got a flag, and Sean Hockley is the ref, and it is against the Lions. And it's a 5-yard penalty, which means the Falcons, instead of starting at the 35-yard line, will start at the 40-yard line due to the infraction by the Lions. Definitely not a good way for the Lions to start with their special teams getting a penalty, and you can definitely see that Dan Campbell is a bit frustrated about it. Lions are coming out on defense, as is expected. And it looks like Easton Stick is going to get the nod for the Falcons tonight. The Falcons are coming out in a strong I formation. Ball is handed off, and it is going to be a 1-yard gain at most. Lions defense does a good job of bottling that up. Can't tell who was the one that got the tackle, but those defensive tackles did a very good job of making sure there was no penetration. So good start on the defense there. 2nd and 10 or a 2nd and very long 9, one or the other. Falcons come out, 2nd and 10. They're going to be in a gun formation, trips left. Ball is snapped. Stick looks to throw. It's a quick drop, and he's already getting pressured under duress, and it is caught after looks like Rock Ya-Sin almost had a chance to get an interception there. Jumped up. Looked like he might have got a hand on it. Don't know 100% sure just yet, but there was pressure coming from the edge, and Stick was able to get it away. Rock Ya-Sin was able to put a hand up. Snap, throw again, under route, and it is going to be a tackle by linebacker Stewart as he gets a 7 to 8 yard gain for the Falcons. 2nd and short coming up for the Falcons. So the Falcons are already opening up their passing attack, testing the Lions secondary for the second team defense. Stick for the Falcons comes to the offensive line under center. Got 2 receivers to the left, 1 man in the backfield. Stick snaps the ball, play action, drops back, looks to throw, getting pressured, and he's going to go down. He's going to get sacked. And DJ Reader is playing tonight? That's a shocker. The starter, DJ Reader, is playing. I'm surprised. I would not have thought that they would have had DJ Reader out there, seeing as how he's a starter. I don't know if that's correct or not. I think that's incorrect because that literally makes no damn sense, but that's what the announcer said. 3rd and 4 coming up. Stick in the gun, snaps the ball. It's going to be a draw play, and he is going to get absolutely stuffed at the line by number 52 of the Lions. It's going to be a 3rd down that's going to translate into a 4th down, and chances are the Falcons are going to punt the ball away. And that was Zach Cunningham, the veteran linebacker, who came up and plugged that hole, and the Falcons are going to have to punt the ball away. And it looks like the Falcons are actually going to go for it on 4th and 3. They're in a gun formation. They might be trying to get the Lions to jump off sides, but no, they're going to snap the ball. It's going to be a quick drop. It's going to be a toss-up, and Stick overthrows the pass, and it is going to be a turnover on downs for the Falcons. Lions will get the ball. And according to Nick Burton, he says that it was not DJ Reader. It is actually Muhammad who got the sack on that play. Forgive me for a minute, folks. I'm going to mute my mic for a quick moment. Yeah, I know you guys couldn't hear me. I had muted my mic on purpose. My wife was calling me, so I called her back really quickly. So I was just letting her know what I was doing and that obviously I was not ignoring her. So that was why I had my mic muted, because I was trying to talk. But defense had a pretty good, start to the game. Got 2 pressures early on the quarterback, so definitely a lot better start defensively than what we had last week against the Chargers. Already got a sack, and we're already back to the game. Hooker is in, and it's a quick throw out to the right to Shane Zylstra, and Zylstra was tackled immediately. Not really anything that he could do. Throw was a bit on the late side coming out of Hooker's hand. Didn't really test the field much. So it's going to be a 2nd and 9 for the Lions offense coming up. Hooker under center, snaps the ball. It's going to be a boot out to the left, and he is absolutely drilled. Just had to get the throw away, and it is an incomplete, as it is now a quick 3rd and 8, as there was no protection for Hooker, and Hooker had no choice but to really just get rid of that ball. And it looks like there was nobody on the backside to pick up the backside blitz. Lions are going to come out in the gun. They're going to have a 4-receiver set. Hooker is in the backfield, trips to the right, actually left. Hooker is going to snap the ball, is going to get phased, and is going to get pressured, and is going to fumble the ball, and the ball is turned over. The Falcons now have it. So first 3 plays, Hooker gets a quick completion for 1 yard, almost gets sacked and throws the ball away, and then the next play tries to scramble and fumbles the ball. Wow. Even with the second stringers, Hooker is just not oh boy. And Hooker was very loosey-goosey with that. That was not at all good on his part. Offensive line didn't do a particularly good job either, but the fact that Hooker fumbled that, absolutely on him. Falcons offense has come back out after a turnover. Stick under center is going to snap it. It's going to hand it off, and the defense is going to come up, makes a good stop for 1, maybe 2 yards, and it looks like Tyleek Williams got the tackle there. I'm pretty confident that was Tyleek Williams. I could be wrong, but I'm about 90% sure that it was. Pickup of 3 yards for the Falcons offense. Going to be 2nd and 7. Stick comes up to the line, under center. 12-man formation. 1 man in the backfield. Snaps the ball. Is going to hand it off. It's going to be an outside run. And outside containment is broken. And is going to be a first down for the Falcons. But there is a flag on the play. It could be a hold against the Falcons. And it is indeed a holding call against the Falcons. It is going to be a repeat of 2nd down. And it was a hold on, it could have been on either Tyleek Williams or the edge rusher, one or the other. Couldn't tell which one, but it was definitely a hold. So now it is 2nd and 17 for the Falcons offense. Not a first down, 10-yard penalty, so 2nd and long coming up for the Falcons offense. Stick is going to be in the backfield by his lonesome. Looks like they're trying to find the exact spot for the ball, so that way the Falcons can snap it. Looks like that the ball has been officially placed. Stick is going to be in an empty backfield, 5-receiver front. Stick gets the snap, looks to throw, throws it, gets it out quick, and it is going to be a quick gain and pickup, and it is going to be a tackle by Rock Ya-Sin, who is again showing up very early in this game, coming close to getting nearly a hand on a wayward throw, and then makes a good tackle on the receiver to bring up a 3rd and long for the Lions defense. Was only a pickup of 4 yards for the Falcons, so 3rd and 13 is coming up. Lions defense is playing very good so far tonight. Falcons are in the gun. Stick is going to be looking for the snap. 2 receivers to the left and right for the Falcons. Snaps the ball, looks to throw again. Pockets collapsing, gets it out quick underneath, and that's not going to go anywhere. So it is going to be a 4th and long for the Falcons, and the Falcons are either going to have to manage to try and kick a very long field goal with Koo, or they're going to punt a very short punt and try and pin the Lions in their own red zone. Just got to try and figure out which way the Falcons are going to go with this. And they are indeed going to try and go for a field goal. And Koo is going to be trying to kick this from almost about the midpoint of the field. It's going to be a 57-yard field goal, but it is right down the middle. Kick is up, and it is going to be good. Barely gets over the crossbar, but it is good. Falcons have drawn first blood. Falcons up 3-0 over the Detroit Lions. And that is not Koo, that is Craig. So I don't know if the Falcons have a new kicker or they're just, trying different options, but that is not the kicker that I thought it was. So I do apologize for that because I got that wrong. We are now apparently at commercial break while obviously the teams get set up for the ensuing kickoff. But just going to say this so far, I have been impressed with the Lions defense. They have played very fast, very aggressive, making sure that they have gotten good tackles. They're playing sound defense. But going to say this right now. Lions offense is right now under Hooker and the second teamers. It is not looking good at all. I'm accessing it, Rishi, by way of the NFL Plus app. That's how I have access to the game right now. So that is to answer your question really quickly. I'll be back in a second, folks, just real quick. Sorry about that. I just had to step off screen for a quick moment there. Nothing too serious. Just had to grab something that I forgot to do pre-stream. That was all. But yeah, things are already not looking good for Hooker. That was a very bad first drive for the Lions offense, and pretty much the summation from that offensive drive was the offensive line did not do a good job in protection, and Hooker did not do a very good job of protecting the ball. So second team defense is looking pretty damn good, and the second team offense is looking pretty damn not good. So already getting a clear dichotomy between the two units, and we're back to the game. The kickoff has already been made, and it is a good return, but there is another flag that flies in late. As soon as the tackle is being made, it is probably going to be against the Lions for a hold. Sean Hockley, the head ref, with the call. Still waiting for the call as they are conferring. It is not a hold. It is an illegal block in the back against number 18 of the Detroit Lions. And so that is going to push the Lions back further than where they would have been if they'd have just, let the ball go into the end zone. So the Lions are going to start further back than where they would like to be for their second offensive drive. Lions are going to start at their 15-yard line. Hooker's under center, 12-man formation. Hooker snaps the ball, is going to hand the ball off, and it is going to be a no-gain run, as Craig Reynolds was not able to get anywhere with the run blocking protection. How's it going, Garrick? Lions offense comes out. They're going to have four receivers set, two to the right and the left. Hooker in the gun. Craig Reynolds on his left. Man in motion behind. Hooker's going to snap it. It's going to do a quick throw out to the right, and it is to Tom Kennedy, and Kennedy is going to be slow to get up. Looks like he is a little gimpy at the moment. But it doesn't look like they're stopping play, so it looks like either he was able to get to the sideline or went back to the huddle. I've been okay, Garrick. I haven't been too great, but I haven't been too bad either. 3rd and 10, Lions have made no progress this drive. Hooker's going to be in the gun. Got three receivers to the left, one to the right. Hooker snaps, looks to throw, is going to dance to the right, and is going to scramble and is going to pick up good yardage and gets to the sideline. It is going to be a gain of about 15-plus yards. So that time when Hooker tried to escape the pocket, found a good outside running lane, was able to pick up a first down. I will say that is the one thing about Hooker that is his saving grace, is the ability to run for it. It was a pickup of 22 yards on 3rd and 10. So Lions convert the downs. Hooker is going to be under center. Two receivers to the left. Reynolds in the backfield, snaps the ball. Hooker's going to play action, looks to throw, throws it, and tries to get it to Isaac Tesla and is not able to do so. Ball was a little low and in front, and Tesla was not able to make the catch. Throw was a little, like I said, low, was not in perfect synchronization for Tesla, but Tesla did have a chance to make the catch, probably should have, but accuracy needs to be a little bit better on Hooker's part. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Lions. Hooker's going to be in the gun, trips receivers to the left, one to the right. Hooker snaps, looks to throw, is going to throw it up, and that is a huge hit on Craig Reynolds as Hendon Hooker just put a hospital pass on Netflix. And this time, Craig Reynolds is going to be going to the sideline as he is clearly hurt. And number 23 of the Falcons is flipping the dirty bird to the Detroit Lions. And that is going to be debated upon whether or not it was a catch, because Reynolds did catch it and got to the ground, but the ball then popped out after he hit the ground. So no word yet on what the penalty was, if it was picked up or if it is a completed pass. So the flags are against both teams. So the flags are both personal fouls of 15 yards or more. So the penalties are going to offset and they're going to repeat the down. So that play is completely negated, but the damage has been done to Craig Reynolds due to Hendon Hooker's hospital pass. I do believe I did say something about hospital passes from Hendon Hooker, and I got quite a bit of guff on that one. Hooker in the gun, 2 receivers to the left. Hooker snaps it, is going to hand the ball off to the running back, and the running back is going to pick up a decent amount of yardage. It is not Craig Reynolds. It is number 42 of the Detroit Lions. Cannot see the name just yet because his back is not to the camera. But it is a substantial pickup. Is going to make it a much more manageable 3rd down. It is 3rd and 4. Garrick, we are in quarter number 1, and there are 6 minutes remaining, and countdown is continuing. 3rd and 4 coming up for the Lions. 5 minutes and 40 seconds left to go. Hooker is going to be in the gun. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Hooker snaps, looks to throw, gets the ball out over the middle, and it is dropped by number 83 of the Detroit Lions. I heard that it was tipped, but it was dropped by the receiver who had it in his hands, and that is going to bring up a 4th down, and that is actually Meeks, who is Zadarius Smith's cousin or nephew, one or the other. And the Lions are going to punt the ball away on 4th and 4, which is no surprise considering the fact that throughout the entirety of first 2 drives, the Lions have only managed 1 first down. The punt is away from Jack Fox. It is a booming punt, and it is going to be a fair catch at around the 12 to 13 yard line where the Falcons will set up shop for their next offensive drive. If I was Dan Campbell, I would be scared too, because that throw to Craig Reynolds was a definite hospital pass, and Meeks dropping that one ball and then almost getting a not almost, he definitely got a pretty substantial hit of his own for his troubles. It's already looking like Hendon Hooker's night is, for lack of a better word, dead in the water. Just saying. And I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to raise my hand and just say this. Did I, or did I not, say that the problems that Hendon Hooker was having were not because of the fact of the talent that he was having around him, but rather there is clearly a problem with his development. If I'm lying, God strike me dead. I don't know about career, Dean. If Trey Lance was able to resurrect his career with the Chargers after bouncing around from the 49ers to the Cowboys, maybe there's hope for Hooker somewhere down the line. But sure as hell does not look like it's going anywhere here with the Lions, and that is a huge disappointment for the Lions because of the resources that they've invested in Hooker, the amount of time they've invested in him. And just not a good showing so far from Hooker. Not a good showing at all. That's all I can say. And the game is back once again. Easton Stick is back out there underneath center. Snaps the ball. Is going to do a pitch out to the right. And Stewart is going to come up and is going to absolutely rock the running back, is going to hold the running back to no gain, possibly a loss of a yard. So it is going to be a 2nd and 10 or maybe a 2nd and 11, depending upon where they spot the ball. They could also spot the ball. Yep, it's going to be a loss of 1. Stewart getting the TFL on the play. That stands for tackle for loss, for those that do not know what that acronym stands for. Falcons are going to come out in the gun. Easton Stick is going to be in the backfield by himself. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Stick is taking his time. Play clock is going to get down to 5. Snaps the ball. Is going to throw another deep ball down the field. And this one is dropped as Stewart was in coverage. Was good coverage, but the throw was better, but the receiver dropped the ball. It is now going to be 3rd and long for the Falcons offense. So running back drops the ball for the Falcons. 3rd and 11 coming up for the Falcons. So far, Stewart is having himself a pretty good day. And I did say Stewart was one to pay attention to and was one to watch. Falcons are going to come out in the gun, going to have 2 receivers to the left with a tight end, 1 receiver to the right. Stick is going to be back there calling the signals, going to snap the ball, looks to throw, is going to throw, and is going to be caught, but it is going to be well short of the 1st down, as it is going to be probably about a 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4 coming up, and it looks like the Falcons are going to stay out there and go for it on 4th down. Catch was made by Drummond for the Falcons, number 87. And the Falcons are actually not going to go for it. They are going to punt on 4th and 4. And Tom Kennedy is back to receive the punt from the Falcons for the Lions. Snap is away. The punt is away. And it is going to be picked at the 40, and Kennedy is going to pick up about 5 or 6 yards to give the Lions pretty good field position at the midpoint of the field, but there is another flag on the play. So far, we have had 3 special teams appearances for the Lions, and so far there have been flags on all 3 appearances for the special teams of the Detroit Lions. Question is we don't know if this flag is against the Lions or if it is against the Falcons. Sean Hockley is going over with his crew. Wow, there are 2 fouls against the Lions. So we have had 3 special teams appearances for the Lions, and every single time that they have been out there have been flags for the Detroit Lions. And this one is a 2-for-1 against the Lions, which is going to put the Lions back 10 yards. So instead of starting at the 45-yard line, they are going to start at the 35. Dre Day, I have no doubt that Coach Phipp right now is probably losing his marbles, and I'm pretty sure Coach Campbell is right there with him. Edjo, there is no status as of yet on Craig Reynolds. Don't know if he's going to be able to come back or not. Don't know what he is feeling, if there is any injury, or if they are, going to be assessing him for injury or not. But we are currently waiting to see what the status is on Craig Reynolds in that. Braylon Dennis, I do agree. Grant Stewart is having himself a pretty good night tonight. So far, Tyleek Williams is doing very well. Grant Stewart is doing very well, and so is Rocky Asin. Overall, the defense as a whole is doing pretty well to start the night. Defense has held the Falcons' offense in check to where so far they've only gotten points off of a 57-yard field goal. But I can tell you this right now, the special teams unit and the offense for the Detroit Lions is definitely not looking good. And that is a huge problem because a lot of these offensive players that are trying to make the roster have got to be able to perform on special teams. And so far, the special teams unit, along with the offense, is struggling mightily. And both Mr. and Dean DeGreer say that Craig Reynolds is back out there. But at the current moment, I am still at commercial break, so I do not see the stream as of yet. And having just said that, we are now back and seeing the Falcons cheerleaders doing their thing. No, it's all right, Dean. I get you. You guys might be ahead of me by a play or two, maybe 10, 15 seconds. Who knows? Lions offense comes back out there. Craig Reynolds is in the backfield, so he is back. Hendon Hooker is going to be under center. Two receivers to the left with a tight end. Hooker snaps the ball, hands it off, and Craig Reynolds is going to get blown up in the backfield. Loss of an easy 2 or 3 yards right there. Lions have already started going backwards on this drive, so not a good look for the Lions' backup offensive players trying to make the roster. 2nd and 12, so a loss of 2. Hooker's going to be under center, man in motion. Lions are going to go from a single back look to an I formation. Snaps the ball, hands it off to Craig Reynolds, and once again, Craig Reynolds is going to go nowhere, as it is either another loss of 1 or it is going to be back to the line of scrimmage. How's it going, JD? Thank you for making it to your first live stream for Motor City Mania. Hopefully all the other regulators are enjoying the coverage. They might not be enjoying the game as much, but the coverage, I hope, is satisfactory. 3rd and 11, so they actually picked up a yard. Hooker's in the gun, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Hooker snaps, is going to drop, looks to throw, and is going to dump it off underneath, and going to be nothing. Maybe a pickup of 1, maybe 2, and it is to tight end Shane Zylstra, and the Lions are going to have another quick 3 and out, and they are going to have to punt the ball yet again. So far, the Lions offense with Hooker running things is not even looking mediocre. It's looking bad. Pickup of 6 on the play. Punt is away. Falcons are going to pick it up, and there's going to be a quick break, and there's another flag on the play for special teams. Don't know who it's against, but chances are it's probably on the receiving team based upon the fact that the side judge is throwing off his hat. but we shall see. So it is against the Falcons. It is going to be an illegal blindside block, and it is going to be a 15-yard penalty added to the return. So instead of being towards the 35, 40-yard line, the Falcons are going to start closer to their own 20. Thank you, Cindy. I do appreciate that. Falcons are going to start their next drive, 1st and 10. There's a minute 40 left in the first quarter. Easton Stick back out there for the Falcons, comes up under center. Going to be a 12-man formation. Going to be a play-action boot to the right. Stick throws it underneath to Drummond, and Drummond is going to pick up a couple of yards for the Falcons and is going to be tackled, going out of bounds, but gets the forward progression, so the clock is going to continue to run. Lions have definitely been pressuring Easton Stick. They've definitely been able to enhance the pressure on the quarterback a lot better than what they were last week. 2nd and 7 for the Lions defense coming up. Falcons are going to be in the gun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right with a tight end. Stick snaps the ball. It's going to be a draw play, and it's going to be a gain of maybe 1 or 2 yards. And with 50 seconds left, there might be time for one more play before the end of the quarter. I would not want Kirk Cousins as our backup quarterback, One Pride. Number one, the cap implications would be absolutely ridiculous. And number two, he already is probably not liking the idea of being a backup to Michael Penix. Stick is going to be in the gun, 2 receivers to the left and right. Stick snaps the ball, looks to throw. Stick is going to start getting pressured, throws it out, and it was almost intercepted by the Detroit Lions, as it was in the hands of a defender, but the defender dropped it. But anyway, it is going to be a 3 and out for the Falcons offense, and they're going to bring out the punt team. Nick Burton, I wouldn't mind having Joe Flacco as our backup quarterback. I really wouldn't, but I sincerely doubt that the Browns are going to trade him. They've had so many problems with their other backup quarterbacks getting injured, and plus on top of that, there's the question as far as with Shedeur Sanders. I'm pretty confident that they're going to wait. The snap is away. The punt is away from the Falcons punter. And Kennedy is going to receive the kick. And Kennedy is going to try and make something out of it. Doesn't get anything. Is going to be a Lions drive starting at the 35-yard line. And surprisingly, there is no flag on this special teams. So for the first time all night, for a special teams appearance, neither team has been flagged, and especially the Lions have not been flagged. Robert, I understand that Flacco is 40 years old, but at this point it's like, listen, we need somebody. But I'm going to refrain judgment on the whole matter until we see what Kyle Allen does later. If things are worse with him in there, then yeah, we might have to start having that conversation. But right now, Hendon Hooker is struggling mightily. Hooker's going to be under center. 2 receivers to the left with a 2 receivers to the right with a tight end. It's going to be a handoff, and there's some decent blocking this time, and Craig Reynolds is able to pick up about 6 or 7 yards. It's going to be a 2nd and short coming up for the Lions, and that is going to end quarter 1 for this game for the Detroit Lions against the Falcons, with the Falcons up 3-0. Quarter 1 down. Lions are down 3-0. Second quarter about to start here in a little bit. If you all hear some fizzing in the background, I'm just pouring myself more of a drink. That's all I'm doing. Garrick, I don't think the Lions are going to trade. I don't think the Lions are going to trade Hooker. At this point, I think the only way Hooker is going to leave the Lions is if they cut him. Edwards, I'm going to say this right now. If I was drinking whiskey, you definitely know. You would definitely know if I was drinking whiskey. Though I will say this, drinking whiskey with what I am drinking would actually be a really good combo depending upon the flavor profile, but not a bad idea. And Dean, you are correct. Teddy Bridgewater did sign with the backup with the Bucs, taking probably one of the best options that we had. Currently, the only option right now that is out on the free agent market that the Lions may consider would be Carson Wentz, but I don't see them making that move. Bees 9, I would say that right now NFL Plus is, because currently to get NFL Plus with all the stuff that I've got, it's $14.99 a month. So if I was you, I would, get the NFL Plus app, pay the $14.99 for, the next couple of weeks. And then once you're done using it, you can, get rid of it. And then you spent maybe $28, $40 to be able to watch the 3 preseason games. And there you go. Don't have to worry about it. After that, though, I would probably recommend getting NFL Sunday Ticket through YouTube TV. They do now have a thing where it's a monthly plan. You don't have to pay the large lump sum all at once. So it's much more manageable, much more cost efficient. That's just my recommendation. Do with it what you will. Hendon Hooker under center, start of the second quarter, is going to hand it off to Reynolds. Reynolds makes one man miss and then is able to break a tackle or two and is able to pick up a first down for the Detroit Lions. Lions offensive line is starting to find its footing a little bit, at least in the run blocking game. Hooker back under center again, 2 tight ends, and the tight ends are going to transition from the left to the right, going to be another handoff for Craig Reynolds, and Craig Reynolds is not going to find much of a hole, is going to pick up what he can, and he is going to get, it looks like maybe a yard or two, setting up a 2nd and 8, maybe a 2nd and 7, depending upon the spot. Well, there's three preseason games currently left, Bees. There's the game tonight, there's preseason game 3, and then there's preseason game 4 before we get to the regular season. 2nd and 8 coming up for the Lions. Trips wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Hooker is going to snap, gets the ball, looks to throw, gets it out, is going to throw it underneath, and gets it to Meeks for another first down. So the Lions are starting to pick up a little bit of rhythm here. 2 good plays back-to-back, able to pick up consecutive first downs, so good job. That's a good question, Brent. I don't know if Fromm is still available. Hooker in the gun, snaps the ball. It's going to be a quick throw out to the left, gets it to Tom Kennedy. Good block from Isaac Tesla. And Kennedy is going to pick up another first down. So the Lions have gotten 3 first downs on 3 consecutive plays. If you consider also the fact that they were able to pick up that first down after going through a 2nd and 3 or 2nd and 4 on that one. But the offense of the Lions is starting to pick up a little bit of rhythm here. Hooker is going to be under center, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Man in motion. Hooker snaps it. It's going to hand it off to the running back. The running back is going to bounce it outside for a small gain, maybe a yard or 2. Going to be a 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 8 going to be coming up here for the Lions offense. Lions offense comes out, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. It's going to be a single back formation, Hooker under center. Man in motion, Hooker snaps it, play action, boot to the right, is going to get it out a little underneath and gets it to Shane Zylstra again for another short gain. Going to set up a 3rd and long 6 by the looks of it. I don't know all who's playing on the offensive line tonight. I know Manu's at left tackle. I know Tate Ratledge is at right guard. But past that, I don't know who all is playing. Lions are going to come out in a gun formation on 3rd and 6. They've got 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Hooker is going to snap, is going to look to throw, steps up, is getting pressured, is going to bounce it out to the left, and it looks like he might have enough for a 1st down to keep the chains moving. But there is a player down, and it is a Detroit Lions player. It's going to be a 4th down for the Lions. No word on the player. It is number 67 for the Detroit Lions. And it's Tristan Colon, who, if I recall correctly, is the center for the Detroit Lions tonight. Don't know how bad the injury is or what specifically happened, but typically when an offensive lineman is on the ground, it's typically not good. Lions training staff is doing him a once-over, making sure everything's good. They got him up to his feet, and Colon looks like he's okay, walking up under his own power. And it is going to be a 4th and 3 for the Detroit Lions offense. Don't know if Dan Campbell is going to try and go for it or not. But we shall see here. Coming back from the commercial break here shortly. Funny enough, we were just talking about the Lions' backup center getting injured, and the next commercial that comes up is with Jason Kelsey, the former center for the Philadelphia Eagles. Looks like Dean and Mr. think that it's just a stinger and that it will pass in time, which I sincerely hope that is the case. Obviously, we're not wanting any serious injuries, especially after how last night when we heard that there were several players for the Chargers and for the Ravens that got severely injured, with Rashawn Slater getting injured, and now he's done for the year. And then I know that the Ravens cornerback is now done for the year. And another cornerback, I think for the Colts, also is done for the year. So Nick says that the Panthers right now are really getting after supposedly Shedeur Sanders. Can't say I can confirm that or not, but I do not doubt what Nick is saying. I'll probably have to go back and watch the Browns game because I am kind of curious to see how Shedeur is doing. But if it's anything like what I'm suspecting, it's probably not that good. Come on, enough with the commercials. Let's get back to the game. Nobody gives a damn about freaking mattresses. Lions are going for it on 4th down. Shotgun snap, throws it, and it's going to be a completion to Isaac Tesla, who is going to convert the downs on a quick slant pattern. That's what Nick means. So good throw there by Hendon Hooker. Good catch by Isaac Tesla. Good conversion on the 4th down play. Lions drive shall continue. Lions are officially in the red zone. Hendon Hooker in the gun. 2 receivers to the right. Hooker's going to get it, is going to do a pitch out of the gun to the running back, and the running back's going to pick up about 2 or 3 yards. Hooker looks like he's definitely catching some rhythm, that's for sure, which is good, because I'll say this, those first couple of drives were very, very bad. But we'll see if it shall continue here. Hendon Hooker is going to be in the gun. Trips receivers to the left. Shane Zylstra is going to now move to the right. So deuces on both sides. Hooker looks to throw and is going to get pressured and is going to get sacked. And it's a number fumble. And the Falcons have recovered. So Hooker has now fumbled the ball for a second time. Once on the scramble and the second time in the pocket by not holding the ball and securing it and safely making sure it's tucked away. So Hooker was building some momentum, but now he is now responsible for a second turnover. It might have been the O-line's fault, Robert, for the poor blocking, but it was definitely Hooker's fault for not securing the ball. The quarterback's job is to make sure that that ball is tucked away and safe at all times. Well, that was the best drive of the Lions offense all night. And once again, Hooker coughs the ball up. And now the Falcons are going to start their drive from deep in their own territory. Did he have enough time to throw it away? Yeah, he had enough time to throw it away, but he wasn't outside of the pocket. So it wouldn't have mattered if he'd have tried to throw it away. Unless, of course, he was able to know where his guys were and just throw it in the dirt. But then again, if he didn't throw it the correct way, it could have possibly gotten an interception. So no way to speculate on it. Point of the matter is it's still a turnover, and it's still going to go on Hooker because when it comes to fumbles, everyone can say what they want about the offensive line and blocking, but it comes down to the quarterback being able to properly tuck the football away and have 2 hands on the football. So definitely not a good start to the night for Hendon Hooker. Well, no way to know, Juan, because until we see Kyle Allen out there later on today, we can't really figure out what exactly we're going to get. Robert, I would check your stats on that one because last year Goff didn't have a single lost fumble. And most of Goff's fumbles are not because of not securing the ball. It's usually because he gets hit in the process of throwing, which then typically results in a fumble. Falcons are in the pistol formation. Stick is calling an audible of some type. Snaps the ball, is going to hand it off, and it is going to be tackled at the line of scrimmage by number 57 of the Detroit Lions. Second and 11 coming up for the Falcons offense. Stick is in the gun. Got 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right with a tight end. Tight end in motion to the left. Snap. Stick looking to throw. Stick's going to go for a deep ball, and it was into double coverage, overthrown, incomplete. Falcons offense is going to come up now to a 3rd and 11. And there is a foul against the Detroit Lions for roughing the passer. And the foul is against Broderick Martin for roughing the passer. Not good for a guy that is also trying to find his way onto this roster after struggling. That shouldn't be a roughing the passer, but as the saying goes, any impact to the head or neck area is going to be automatically called as a roughing the passer, so rules are rules. Falcons are now 1st and 10 after the penalty. In the gun, 3 receivers to the left with 1 as a tight end. Falcons snap it. Stick looks to throw. Stick gets it out, throws it. Wide open guy going into the deep flats, and it is to number 81 of the Falcons. Another first down for the Falcons. And Drummond is the recipient of that catch on that deep crossing pattern. And that was a good throw by him, but it was not good coverage by the Lions defense. Falcons have now crossed midfield with the ball at the 44-yard line. 8 minutes remaining in the second quarter before the half. Stick under center, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Stick snaps it, hands it off, and it is going to be a huge tackle for a loss in the backfield as it looks like Ahmed Hazanin was able to get the tackle, and then Broderick Martin came in and helped clean it up a little bit. Falcons in the gun, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right with a tight end. And there is a flag against the Falcons for false start. So it's going to be a 5-yard penalty. After the loss in the backfield by Ahmed Hazanin, the Falcons are going to go from 2nd and 13 to 2nd and 18. Do. Shave and a haircut, 2 bits. Falcons in the gun, same formation. 2nd and 18. Stick gets the snap, looks to throw, is going to throw it underneath in the flats, going to get caught, and is going to find a way to pick up a couple of yards as he makes the first man miss and is then tackled by number 53, the linebacker, which, if I recall correctly, I think that's Trevor Nowaski. 3rd down coming up for the Lions defense and Falcons offense. 6.5 minutes remaining for the first half. Third and 7 coming up for the Falcons. 3 receivers to the right for the Falcons. Snap, stick looks to throw, is getting blitzed, and then it's going to be a quick throw underneath, but it is then instantaneously swallowed up by Rock Ya-Sin, who makes the tackle. It is going to be a 4th down for the Falcons, with a probable long field goal attempt coming up to try and extend their lead to 6-0. And no, actually, the Falcons look like they're going to punt the ball away. Yep, Falcons are going to punt the ball away this time near midfield. And this is probably going to put the Lions deep in their own territory. And the punt is away. Kennedy is back there, and this punt is going to go into the end zone, so it is going to come out to the 25-yard line for the Lions as a touchback. Jarrett, so far, Hasanim's looking pretty good for the Lions. He's made a couple of good tackles in the backfield and looks pretty good. Lions defensive line has been applying good pressure all night on Stick. So Lions defense is playing pretty damn good right now. If you're referring to third time's the charm in terms of fumbles, I sure as hell hope not. Don't know exactly what you mean by third time's the charm, but we'll see. But so far, Hooker was supposed to try and have a pretty good game, and let's call for what it is. First half has not been kind to him. Pretty much it's been almost a continuation of what happened last week. The only thing that's a little bit different is that, oh, wow. Wow, folks, listen to this. Just came from the Detroit Lions Twitter. The Lions have pulled Hendon Hooker. They have pulled him. They are not letting him play the entire first half. So that is a huge development right there, because that means that the Lions are not happy with what Hendon Hooker's been doing, because he was supposed to play the entire first half, and with 5 minutes remaining, they have decided to pull him and put in Kyle Allen. So that right there is a huge development within this backup quarterback competition. Not a good indicator for Hendon Hooker at all. Juan, I think you're probably correct. I think it probably is Kyle Allen's job to lose at this point. Because Campbell specifically stated that Hendon Hooker was going to play the entire first half, and with 5.5 minutes remaining, they've already pulled him. So Kyle Allen is in the game, under center for the Detroit Lions, got two receivers to the left with a tight end with a single back formation. Meeks in motion to the right. Allen snaps the ball, hands it off to Reynolds, and Reynolds is going to fight. Actually, no, that's not Reynolds at all. That's Small. Small's going to fight for about a yard or two, but it looks like one of the Lions' offensive linemen is slow to get up. But it looks like they're not stopping play in the game. They're just moving on. 5 minutes remaining. Allen in the gun. Two tight ends to the left, two receivers to the right. Allen snaps, looks, gets the ball out quickly, throws it to Tom Kennedy on a nice out pattern to the flat. Picks up about 3 or 4 yards, but there is a flag on the play. And the flag is against Detroit, with a holding against the Detroit Lions for number 65. And that is against Igwaku, who is one of the guards. And I beg your pardon, not Igwaku, Igwakun. So, but yeah, the hold is against him. That is going to be a 10-yard penalty against the Detroit Lions. 2nd and 17 coming up for the Lions offense. 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. Garrick, no, we do not have another backup besides Allen. 2nd and 17 coming up for the Lions offense. Allen in the gun. Two receivers to the right with a tight end. One receiver to the left. Allen snaps, play action, looks to throw, steps up, heaves it downfield, and he's got himself a big completion to Meeks, and it's going to be a almost touchdown. Meeks gets inside the red zone on one play for 68 yards from a beautiful pass from Kyle Allen. Big play, big throw, big catch, absolutely great job there. That's what a quarterback is supposed to do. Stay in the pocket, stay calm, deliver a beautiful strike. And the fact that Meeks was able to do that while having the back judge back there, great job by him to have the concentration to haul that ball in. Good job by Allen to put that where only his receiver could get it. Allen in the gun. Lions at the 20 or 19-yard line. Allen snaps, looks to throw, steps up in the pocket, and is going to scramble, and it looks like he's actually going to get a first down. No, going to actually be smart about it, not risk his body. Picks up about 8 or so yards. Going to be a second and very short for the Lions offense after that 68-yard bomb. So on 2nd and 17, Kyle Allen delivers an absolute rainbow ball and gets the Lions to flip the field in one play. Great job so far by Allen coming in and playing with the second team. Allen under center, I formation. Fullback's going to now move to the tight end, Horton. Allen snaps the ball, is going to hand it off to the running back, Small, and Small is going to pick up a small gain, maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, one or the other, and it is going to set up a 3rd and short for the Lions offense within the red zone. 3rd and 2 coming up for the Lions offense. Third and 2 coming up for the Lions. Allen's going to be in the gun. 2 receivers to the left and to the right. Allen's got a man on his left hip. Allen snaps, looks to throw. Allen's going to throw a touch pass into the back of the end zone. It's going to be caught by Isaac Tesla. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Great throw by Kyle Allen. Great catch by Tesla. Tesla records his first touchdown as a rookie in the NFL. Great throw by Kyle Allen to put that ball up to where only his man could get it. Great catch by Tesla, who goes up, catches it with his hands, retains possession. Lions get the lead. Great job by freaking Kyle Allen to come in and get this Lions offense to get going, and literally does so in only a handful of plays, what Hendon Hooker could not do over the majority of the first half. The kick is up from Jake Bates. The kick is good. The Lions take a 7-3 lead with 2 minutes to go before the half. Kyle Allen has come in and has completed all of his passes to start and has got a passing touchdown. So absolutely great job by Kyle Allen and this offense under him. And if you guys watched the episode that I released a couple hours before, this game, I said that if this was going to happen, this is going to start some very, very uncomfortable conversations for Hooker. You can say what you want about the offensive line not playing well, but the point of the matter is it's up to the quarterback to be able to make plays. And this is the same offensive line that Hooker had with Kyle Allen in there. And Kyle Allen literally in one drive was able to put up more production than Hendon Hooker was able to do in, 4 or 5 drives, and had 2 fumbles, 2 turnovers. And I understand what you're saying, Bees. I get what you're saying about trying to stay positive, but it's hard to stay positive about a player who just is not showing progression. He's not showing progression in his reads. He's not showing progression in terms of accuracy. He's not showing progression in terms of understanding the offense. It's hard to stay positive about somebody that the Lions drafted with such high potential, that fans themselves had such high expectations for. And now, once again, this is the problem that you have. It goes back to what I said earlier about Hendon Hooker. Every time Hendon Hooker has gotten into a quarterback competition with a guy that's at least, a veteran quarterback that has some good experience, has good talent, he can't win. He wasn't able to beat out Teddy Bridgewater. He wasn't able to beat him out twice. The only guy that Hendon Hooker has beaten out was Nate Sudfeld. And like I said, Kyle Allen is substantially better than Nate Sudfeld ever was. Kickoff is away for the Lions. It's going to be a short one, but still within the area, and it is going to only come out to the 30-31 yard line. No dirty laundry on the field, so the Lions are able to get yet another, special teams without a flag after having the first 3 or 4 with flags. That's rather funny, mister, but I'm going to refrain from stating that because I'm sure somebody might think that that's a bit of a gross thing to say, but so be it. Falcons offense is back out on the field with 2 minutes, 15 seconds left in the half. Stick in the gun. Man in motion to the left. Stick snaps the ball, looks to throw, gets it out. Going to be a quick throw into the left flat. It's going to be a pickup of about 5 yards. And the clock is going to continue to run as the player was able to get forward progression. And that's going to bring us down to the 2-minute warning. So we'll see if the Lions defense can get a stop here to give the ball back to Allen and the offense to potentially extend their lead by another 3 or another touchdown. We'll see what happens here. Wow. Absolutely agree with you, Bo Booth. Rock Ya-Sin has continued to look very good. To answer your question, Robert, no, I am not smoking weed. Military has a strict no tolerance policy when it comes to marijuana. If you pop positive for marijuana, you risk UCMJ, you risk demotion, you risk getting kicked out of the Army with a dishonorable discharge. So no, I am not smoking weed. What this is just simple, just vape. I actually picked up the vape juice that I'm using while I was in Michigan for my birthday back early in July. And I'm going to tell you something. This stuff is, woo! This stuff will definitely give you a swift kick in the pants. Nice to hear that from you, T. Thank you for showing up. One of my regular regulators. Well, I'll tell you this, Big Novocaine. If I wasn't in the military, I would certainly try it. But since I am in the military, I'm not going to try it. I have a strict no tolerance of my own when it comes to that sort of thing. If I'm going to be honest with you, mister, I prefer vaping over smoking cigarettes. The only reason that I smoke cigarettes, and typically I smoke, maybe 1 or 2 cigarettes a day. The only reason that I smoke cigarettes is because sometimes, I like the aroma of cigarettes. I really do, because, some people can say they don't like the aroma of cigarettes, but cigarettes I like the smell of. But it depends on the cigarette, number one. And number two, I can't smoke a whole hell of a lot of cigarettes, because if I do, I wouldn't say it makes me sick, but it definitely gives me an oddball feeling compared to vaping. So it's one of those things that I try to balance a little bit. But yes, I do prefer vaping over smoking, but I do both. So is what it is. Answer T would be getting Zadarius Smith. Stick in the gun, snaps the ball, throws the ball, gets it out quick, and it is going to be caught as the ball was underthrown, but the receiver makes a great adjustment, goes up and gets it, and it is going to be a quick first down for the Falcons offense as the Falcons rush to the line to try and get another play off, but it looks like they're going to stop from doing a quick huddle. They're going to stop from doing a quick snap, and they're going to huddle up here. I do not, Bo Booth, but I will definitely listen to that one. I have actually not watched Sons of Anarchy, believe it or not. Quick throw by Stick, and is going to be a pickup of another couple of yards for the Falcons. It's going to be about a 5 or 6 yard gain for the Falcons. Minute to go in the first half. Stick in the gun. Stick snaps, looks to throw, gets it out quick on a slant pattern. Wide receiver was wide open as the cornerback was well off in coverage there. Falcons convert another first down. Stick in the gun. Stick snaps, looks to throw, gets another quick throw out to the flat, and it is going to be a pickup of a couple of yards as the receiver was able to go out of bounds, and the clock is going to stop with 39 seconds remaining. The Falcons have all 3 timeouts remaining with 39 seconds left on the clock, so they are definitely trying to score a touchdown here before the half to go in front of the Detroit Lions. So at this point, the Detroit Lions have got to try and figure out a way to either stop them by forcing a field goal or by getting a turnover. Stick in the gun. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right with a tight end. Stick snaps, looks to throw, is going to throw a fade route, and it is caught by the receiver for a touchdown. And there is a flag on the play. No word if the flag is on the defender for defensive pass interference or holding, but it is a touchdown for the moment for the Falcons, unless the flag is against the Falcons. But it is against the Detroit Lions defender, and it is going to stand as a touchdown, so the Falcons are going to go up, and they are going to try and take the lead further and go up 10-7. Lions' 2-minute defense was not particularly good there on that drive as they offered very little resistance against the Falcons' offense, and Stick carved them up like a Thanksgiving turkey. Falcons are going to kick the field goal here, leave about 30 seconds on the clock for the Lions. And the kick is up. The kick is good. Falcons now up 10-7. Falcons allowed 34 seconds to be left on the clock, which with the Lions having 3 timeouts, so long as they play smart, they should be able to get in range for Jake Bates to kick a field goal to at least tie the game before we go into halftime. And since the Lions kicked off to start the game, they would receive the ball to start the second half, which being tied rather than down by 3 would be the most optimal position to be in at this point. So we will see how Kyle Allen is able to navigate with this 2-minute offense to get the Lions within a position to tie the game. Easton has performed brilliantly for the Falcons, completing 15 of 18 for almost $150 and 1 touchdown. We'll see what they decide to do, Dre Day. I don't know. They could decide to just run the clock out and go into the half only down by 3, but I think what the Lions are going to try to do is they're going to try to put their players into a certain position and go from there. But the Lions are going to get a squib kick, and Reynolds is going to actually going to pick it up and is not even going to get back to the 20-yard line as the Lions now get the ball just short of the 20-yard line, and I think they're going to have about 30 or so seconds to get within range for Jake Bates. But we shall see what the Lions offense does here, if they are going to decide to try and push it down the field to get in range, or if they're going to play it safe and just go into the half only down by 3. We shall see here momentarily. Allen in the gun, trips to the right, 1 to the left. Man in motion from right to left. Allen snaps, looks to throw, is going to step up in the pocket, and he loses the ball but is able to fall on it to keep possession. But at that point, the clock is going to run out, and the Lions will go into the half down by 3. So Allen there fumbled the ball, but was smart enough to drop on it and retain possession. But that is going to end the half, as the Lions are going to go into the half down by 3 to then start the second half, with the ball. So that is the halftime period. Lions are down by 3 to the Falcons, 7-10. So I'm going to say this. There was definitely a lot of things to take away from that first half there for the Detroit Lions. Lions defense played good for about, 95% of it. Lions offense was pretty bad for about 75% of it, all of it under Hooker. Allen comes out with his first drive, puts up points on the board, gets the Lions offense going, and then tried to do something to start the second half and then nearly fumbled the ball away, but was able to recover his own fumble to retain possession. So not the best way you want to end the half, but still pretty good, all things considered. But I'll say this, at least the Lions on an overall front have played better than what they did in the Hall of Fame game. But biggest concerns that I've already noticed from this game compared to the last game is turnovers have continued to be a problem in terms of ball security for Hendon Hooker. Offensive line is still having problems in terms of, blocking. Drops are still a bit of a problem for some of the receivers. And I would also say that the penalties have been a huge problem, particularly on special teams and also on defense in terms of the situational aspect, because that one penalty on that cornerback, number 36, on that touchdown throw from Easton Stick was not good at all. But yeah, penalties, again, poor ball security, offensive line having problems, special teams having problems, especially early on. So, again, I've always had hair, Bo. I've always had hair. It's just, 95% of the time you guys see me wearing a hat. But yes, I do have a full head of hair. Because I'll tell you this right now, when I was in basic training, I found out really quickly that when the time comes and I don't have hair anymore, I can handle it. But I'll tell you this right now, I personally do not ever want to get to that point. But when it comes, I'll at least be able to accept it. Braylon Dennis with some comments that he would like to post and gives a donation to the show. Thank you, Braylon. Braylon says, defense looking good. Hooker's not ready. Tesla man on a mission. We need some more O-line depth. Also, Boodle sucks. Also, Allen ... number 2 ? I'm just going to say this, folks. If the quarterback competition was to be decided after today, unless Allen just absolutely, craps a goose egg in the second half, Allen's won the job. Allen has won the job. Yes, he threw 2 interceptions in the first game, but still played better and ran the offense better than Hooker did. Hooker absolutely was terrible for the time that he was in the first half, and the fact that Dan Campbell pulled him, that right there, I think, says all that needs to be said about Hendon Hooker. And I'm sure that that's a question that's going to get brought up in the postgame. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm almost willing to bet you money that what, Campbell is going to say is that, we just wanted to see what Kyle Allen could do, what Allen could do with, the number 2s really quickly. Was nothing against Hendon Hooker, but it's like, listen, that move, that was all against Hendon Hooker. That was a direct reflection upon the fact that the offense was not going anywhere. It was not performing, and Hooker was just not doing a good job. And when that happens after you directly told the media that Hooker was going to play the entire first half and then Allen was going to play the entire second half, the fact that you put Allen in with 5.5 minutes left in the first half, that is a huge, huge red flag for Hendon Hooker. There's just no way around it. There's just no way around that. And I'm going to say this right now. Even the most fanatical Hooker fan at this point has got to be like, his time's pretty much done. His time is pretty much done. Because at this point, it's like, listen, this is not the first time that we've seen Hendon Hooker get passed up or passed over for a veteran quarterback. It happened in the playoff game last year against the Commanders. Instead of putting in Hooker, they put in Teddy Bridgewater. And then, to start off the preseason, Kyle Allen gets the nod as the starter in the Hall of Fame game. And then before this half is even done, the Lions pull Hooker and they put in, Kyle Allen. That right there is 3 instances where the Lions have blatantly, flat out told everybody in the NFL, we don't trust Hooker. We don't trust what we see. We don't like what we see. We want to make sure that, we're taking a look at other options because what we're seeing currently with Hooker is just not cutting it. Bunny King says, because of his age, I'm ready to say if Hooker isn't ready now, he never will be. Dude, to everybody that's watching this, I said that 2 years ago. I said that 2 years ago when we drafted him. I was like, listen, every quarterback that has been drafted that was 25 years or older did not work out. You guys can go back, find the videos, find the live streams. Every time I said it, I got absolutely, hated on. Because I'm going to tell you, there were some people that thought they wanted to call me a racist over it. They wanted to say that the reason I didn't like Hooker was because of his skin color. And it's like, dude, it has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the fact of history, has everything to do with the fact of, hey, you know what? This is what has been the trend in the past. Older quarterbacks do not typically do well that are 25 or older when they get drafted. And on top of that, Hooker is coming from a system in college that is not used in the NFL. The NFL is a 100% pro freaking style offensive system. It's West Coast based. It's timing based. The spread system is all about spreading the receivers out as far possible as you can, hence the reason why it's called the spread. And you're trying to get as much open space for those receivers to make openings. So it's not based on timing. It's all about trying to make sure that there's as much open space for the quarterback to throw the ball, which particularly happens when you have a quarterback that's not accurate. Think about that. If you give the quarterback a very wide open window to try and throw a ball into, you don't have to worry about accuracy as much because the receiver has more capability to work within those spaces, those zone openings, to go and get the pass. And it means the quarterback doesn't have to try and fit the ball into tight spaces. Now when you're basing everything off of timing, you're basing everything off of repetition and everything else, that's about being precise. That's about being deliberate. It's about understanding assignments, understanding coverages. And I said it back then, I'll say it now, and I've been proven correct. Hendon Hooker did not know that. Hendon Hooker has not been able to figure that out because everything that he did in college is the exact opposite of what the Lions are asking him to do now. When Hendon Hooker was in college, nothing was based on timing. Nothing was based upon reading defenses to the precision that you have to now. And then on top of that, Hendon Hooker was able to get away with being less precise because of that in terms of his ability to throw the ball, in terms of ball placement, the whole 9 yards. And I literally said it. I was like, he's coming into an offense where you absolutely have to be precise. You have to be deliberate with how you throw the ball. Your mechanics, your accuracy, your ball placement, it's got to be on point. So for a quarterback that has not had to experience those things or does not know what those things are, coming into the NFL at 25, he's well behind the ball curve. And it's like, listen, for a guy like that, he needs to have been doing that since he was 21, 22 years old. but he wasn't. He was operating in an offense that worked to his strengths, which his strengths do not work at the pro level in the offense that the Lions run. And it's why he has struggled so mightily in being able to do what the Lions have asked of him. Again, it's just facts. It's just based upon, when I was in college, I was a quarterback. I wasn't anything super special, never claimed to be. But I was a quarterback, and I understood that, hey, you know what? Certain styles of offense require certain types of things from quarterbacks. And if you're going to run a pro-style offense, it's all based on timing. It's all based on precision. And if you can't do that, you're not going to work. That's why when the Lions drafted Hendon Hooker, I was like, he's not going to do anything. He's not going to be a starter. And again, like I said, I got called a racist for that. And that's not the first time I've been called a racist either. I was also called a racist when I was railing against the idea of drafting Malik Willis back in the day. So I don't know what it is, but apparently people think that if I don't like a black quarterback, that somehow I'm a racist. Nick, no, I never did. I never did win a state title when I was in high school. I made the playoffs with the team I was on 2 years in a row, but those were one and done exits in both cases. Got into the playoffs, and then we lost our first playoff game. First time we did it, we got our asses handed to us by a Catholic high school. Wasn't even a contest. The second time that we played, it was more of a contest, but it was plainly obvious that we weren't up to their standards. So I never won a championship when I was in high school, but I was part of the 1 year that I did play college ball. I was a backup. I was, one of the players that would help with the scout team. I actually ran the scout team offense for my team a couple of times, and probably the highlight of my college career for what little time I had, I was running a practice, and it was actually a late night practice of all things. And I do apologize if I'm boring you with this story, but it's kind of like, me reliving things a little bit here. But I was in it. I was in at quarterback. I was running the scout team offense against our starting defense. So I was running it against my team's starting defense, and I was running the plays that, the opposing offense that we were about to play was going to run. And I was absolutely carving up our starting defense. I was carving them up. And it was so funny because my head coach at the time, he was absolutely livid. He was livid because he's like, we got a scout team quarterback out here getting carving up our starting defense, just blah, 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 blah. And I was like, man, I'm sorry. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do here. And he come over to me, and I know the game's back on, so I'm going to finish this up really quickly. He comes over to me, and he's like, hey, man, he's like, you keep doing what you're doing. He's like, you keep carving them up. And I was like, yes, sir, coach. So, yeah, that was the highlight of my college career. For a couple of practices, I was like, the best quarterback because I was absolutely making our starting defense absolutely better because I was able to run opposing offenses apparently better than anybody else. So it was kind of fun. But yeah, I actually won what is known as an MIAA state championship with the college that I was in, which obviously in college football you have Division I, Division II, Division III, but in Michigan you also have what is known as MIAA League, and the team that I was on, we won the state championship the year that I played, and I actually have that championship ring up in my bedroom, and I've kept it. But game is back. Kickoff just got done. Lions are going to start their drive close to the 30-yard line. Allen back out there. Allen in the gun. Allen snaps the ball. Does a fake throw on a draw play. Hands it off to the running back, which the running back, it looks like, is still Craig Reynolds. And Reynolds is going to pick up about 3-some yards. No, Robert. Allen is not in. It looks like he is done for the night. And actually, it's a pickup of 4 as the Lions are now 2nd and 6. Man in motion from the right, further into the formation. Allen snaps, play action. Allen is going to try and step up, loses his footing for a moment, so he's not able to do anything and takes a sack. So it's going to probably put it closer to a 2nd, and it's going to probably put it closer to a 3rd and 10 or a 3rd and 11 for the Lions, as Allen lost his footing there for a brief second, and the tackles were not able to hold up the edges. And it's going to be a 3rd and 9 for the Lions offense. 2 receivers on both sides of the formation. Ball is near the 30 where they started. Allen in the gun. Allen snaps the ball, looks to throw, stands in the pocket, gets it out on an under route. It's complete, and it's going to be a 1st down for the Lions to wide receiver number 10, but there is a flag on the play, and it looks like Allen is pointing that it's against the Falcons, and it's probably going to be a roughing the passer. And it is. It's a roughing the passer call against the Falcons, so it's going to be a 15-yard penalty that is added to the end of the play, which should put the Lions around midfield as, wow, number 51 absolutely side clotheslined Allen there at the end of the play. And that is against Falcons edge rusher Malone. And it looks like Raheem Morris is coaching him now on the sideline. So the Lions are actually past midfield. They're going to be at the 41 of the Falcons. Lions come out. Allen is going to be under center. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right with a tight end. Tight end shifts over to the left. Single back formation. Receiver now is moving to the right. It's going to be a handoff, and the running back is able to pick up a slight gain after getting hit in the backfield. So it's probably going to be a 2nd and 10 coming up, or a 2nd and 9, depending upon where they spot the ball. They might be generous and give us a 2nd and 8. Really depends on everything. It looks like they're going to put it right back to the line of scrimmage. I appreciate that, Bo. It's going to be a 2nd and 9, so they gave him a yard gain. Allen under center, 2 tight end formation, 2 receivers to the left. Allen snaps, play action, is going to get away from a sack on a boot to the right, is going to scramble, and is going to pick up another yard or 2 to make it a 3rd and 8. So good job by Allen fighting through the sack there and then able to get something out of that broken play. Good heads-up play and savvy by the veteran Allen there. So it was a pickup of 2 by Allen there to get out of the cornerback blitz that was nearly a sack. So good job there by Allen. Thank you, Juan. I'm just going to ask that you refrain from, spoiling things for the rest of us, but thank you for that forward update. Allen in the gun, snaps the ball, looks to throw, is going to throw a deep ball down the field, and it's an overthrow. Looks like it was deliberate, as doesn't look like he was trying to find anybody else. So rather than, lose more yardage or anything else, Allen just threw the ball away and is going to give Jake Bates a chance to kick a field goal, which obviously he's going to do. And the Lions will tie the game at 10 apiece. So Bates is going to come out here and is going to kick a 57-yarder just like the Falcons kicker did earlier in the game. And obviously he's going to connect it. Kick is up, and kick is right down Broadway, and easily had about 5 or 7 yards more to spare. So Lions have tied it up, and it is 10 apiece for the Falcons and Lions, and there is 11 minutes and 48 seconds left in the third quarter. No update currently, Mr. Oncolin. I don't know if he was able to get back out there or not, but I have not seen anything from Twitter. So chances are that since they have not said anything, that, everything should be fine. But we are currently at commercial break for the moment, at least on my feed. But in any case, Yep, got 3, Edjo. So Lions tie the game back up. Lions are definitely playing better in this game, but still not as good as what you would like to see, but still better than what we saw in the Hall of Fame game. Definitely. I definitely, I'm going to say this right now. Everybody wants to talk about Megatron, but I keep seeing the nickname. I think with Jake Bates, we got to call him Legatron because that dude seems to like make everything long distance. Freaking just made a 57-yard field goal look absolutely easy. But, at least this game is definitely going better than the last one. And, it's not all bad news for the Lions. So that's good. But unfortunately, the big news of tonight, like I said, is going to be the whole situation with Hendon Hooker. That's all anybody's going to talk about primarily. That is all anybody's going to talk about, including myself. Obviously, I'm going to talk about other things, but the first thing I'm going to talk about come tomorrow, just to give you guys a heads up, is going to be the whole situation with Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen. I mean, it is what it is. And you know what, Bunny King? I hear what you're saying, that Kyle Allen doesn't wow you, but you know what? I don't need wow. I don't need a wow factor from a quarterback. What I need is consistency. What I need is the ability to do the job and do the job effectively and correct every single time you step out on the field. And Kyle Allen does that. Kyle Allen personifies that. He's reliable. He's consistent. Hooker, on the other hand, is, for lack of a better word, is inconsistent. You can't trust what he's going to do from drive to drive, from play to play. That's the way it is. That's the truth. And I know some people aren't going to like it, but you know what? As I've said before, that's just the way it is. He might not have done it in the first game, Robert, but you know what? He still was more consistent than Hooker was. And Falcons come out for their first drive of the second half, got a new quarterback in, and they're going to hand the ball off, and it is going to be a potential tackle for a loss or getting back to the offensive line of scrimmage. Can't really tell at the moment, but looks like it's probably going to be a 2nd and 10 or a 2nd and 9, depending upon where they spot the ball here. Still don't know who the quarterback is for the Falcons right now, but Falcons are in the gun, empty set, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Quarterback drops back to throw, looks to throw, gets it out quick to the flat, and receiver makes a man miss, is able to turn upfield and picks up a first down for the Falcons. Quarterback is number 15. I don't know who that is specifically. Again, I have not seen the name just yet. And Nick, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm friends with a lot of African Americans, and there's a lot of African Americans that I like in football. I really do. Quarterback snaps it for the Falcons and is going to be an option where he decides to keep the ball. And he's going to pick up 9 yards and going to make it a 2nd and 1 for the Falcons. and it looks like the quarterback is named Jones. So going forward, I'm just going to say Jones. Robert asks, any chance Tesla plays quarterback? Probably only in emergencies or if it's a trick play. That's probably the only way I see that ever happening. Falcons are in the gun. Jones is in the backfield. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Jones snaps, looks for the ball, and there's a fumble in the backfield on the handoff, and it is going to be a tackle for loss as Corbin, the Falcons running back, is able to fall on it. It's now going to be a 3rd and probably 4 or 5 after that botched handoff there. And it actually is going to be a 3rd and 4, 3rd and long 3, really, for the Falcons. Jones in the gun, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left with a tight end. Jones snaps, looks to throw, and is going to throw it. Does a double clutch, but is able to get the throw out over the middle of the field to his wide receiver as number 36, Hallett, is once again the man in coverage and is not able to break it up. And the Falcons convert the down, and they're now at 1st down again. Jones in the gun, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. 8.5 minutes to go. Jones snaps, looks to throw, throws it out, and just absolutely throws an airmail to the sideline. Wide receiver was nowhere even close to getting it, but he was in the area, so it's not an intentional grounding. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Falcons. Second and 10 for the Falcons. They're at the Lions 37. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Gun formation. Jones snaps, looks to throw again, and is going to get pressured from behind and is sacked. As it is, who was it? Who sacked him? Looks like it was Lynn who got the sack on the blind side of Jones. And it is now going to be a 3rd and long for the Falcons offense. Lions now have 2 sacks on the night. 1 by Nate Lynn. Jones snaps, throws a quick bubble route out to the right, or actually the left, pardon me. Falcons are going to pick up a good chunk of yards, but they're going to be stopped short of the 1st down, but they are in field goal range, so the Falcons are most likely going to send out the field goal kicker. So good job again by the Lions defense holding up, forcing a field goal. You are correct, Bunny King. Hazanin was there as well. Nate Lynn was just a little bit quicker and was able to get to the quarterback and got the sack. So Falcons kicker is going to come out. It's a 53-yard kick from the left hash. Kick is up, and this kick is no good. Wide left. So Falcons are going empty-handed. Lions defense stands tall, and the Lions are going to get the ball back near midfield. And just like Dean DeGuer said, it's not even close. Or as Bob Uecker said in Major League, just a bit outside. He tried to hit the corner and missed. Don't know if we're going to go to commercial break. And as soon as I said that, we go to commercial break. I think the NFL knows I'm watching them. Oh, well. I'm having fun, folks. I'm having fun. Anyway. Good game so far for the Lions overall. Keeping it competitive. Backups are getting a lot of good reps. A lot of them are showing good things. And some of them are showing bad things. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So I got a quick question for everybody out there that's watching the show. Who here is all excited for the NFL flag competition to become an Olympic sport? Who's excited to see NFL flag football become a Olympic competition? Curious to see if any of the Lions starters are going to partake in that whole thing. B's, the score is tied at 10 apiece. And T, personally, I think that it's a tragedy. I think the fact that, Teddy Bridgewater got suspended for helping out kids that were in his program by providing food and meals and, Ubers, so that way they could get to and from, practice without fear of getting, anything bad happening to them. I think that him getting suspended or, in essence, removed from his job, I think is a terrible thing. Back to the game. Lions are out on the field. Allen under center. Going to be a fake throw and then a handoff, and the Lions are going to push the pile and are going to get a small gain of about 2 or 3 yards. Allen in the gun, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Allen snaps, looks to throw, and is getting instantly pressured. It's a setup screen, good downfield blocking, and the Lions are going to pick up a first down on the designed screenplay. Looking at the key additions here for the Falcons, I see a very familiar name as Mike Ford is one of the players that the Falcons picked up, signed him to a 2-year, 4-year deal. Allen under center, 2 receivers to the left with 1 tight end, 1 receiver to the right. Man in motion to the right. Allen snaps it, hands it off. There's a huge hole for the Lions running back, and he's going to get up close to a first down. Going to be 1 yard short. Going to be a 2nd and 1 coming up for the Lions. How do I say this, Dean? Does the vape affect me? It does, but not in the way you might think. It definitely gives me a buzz, and it also has another effect, and I'll answer that later. But Allen snaps under center, hands it off. Another good hole for the Lions running back. First down, good pickup, about 4 or 5 yards right there. Lions running game is starting to pick up. Can't tell if it's because the blocking is getting better or because now the Falcons have put in their third stringers. I can't really tell as of yet, but at least it's getting better. 1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions. 4.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Allen under center, 2 receivers to the left, 1 tight end receiver to the right. Man in motion in tight to the formation. Lions hand off the ball again. Good cut by the running back and another solid pickup of about another 5 or 6 yards. Good job by the running back to find the hole. Decent blocking up front. Second and 4 for the Lions offense. Allen in the gun. Trips left, one man to the right. Allen snaps, looks to throw, gets the ball out, finds a nice opening, and gets it to his receiver. But there is a flag in the secondary. Ronnie Bell with the reception. Can't tell who the flag is, but it's probably against the Falcons. Illegal contact against the Falcons. The penalty is going to be declined. First down for the Detroit Lions. Simple throw, simple catch, good consistency, good accuracy, move the chains. That's exactly what you want to see out of a backup quarterback. Allen under center. I formation to start. Allen brings the receiver in tight, snaps the ball, hands it off to the running back. And this time, the Falcons defense is able to get some good penetration and stop Sailors close to the line of scrimmage. Could be a small loss, if not a play back to the original line of scrimmage. Second and 10 coming up for the Detroit Lions offense. Lions in the gun, two receivers to the left, one tight end and receiver to the right. Allen snaps, looks to throw, gets it out to Sailors. Sailors is going to get some decent blocking on the outside from his receivers and picks up a solid 6 or 7 yards to make it a very short and manageable third down. Sorry, folks. I'm having to switch out my headphone because the battery that I just had literally quit on me. So just give me a second while I get the stream back up and running in my headphone. I just missed either the last play or what, but the Falcons are challenging the ruling on the field as far as the down and the spot of the ball. Got to figure out here what the ruling is going to be on the field as far as the spot of the ball, but getting back to the question that you asked earlier, Dean, about how the vape affects me. It does give me a buzz. It does give me a head rush, especially early in the morning when I haven't had any vape or nicotine for 7-8 hours. But the other thing that it does is because this is a much stronger vape concentration than normal. I will say this, that when I how do I put this? When the vape wears off, it is a little hard to breathe because I'm trying to breathe after the vape. It's not because I have a problem breathing. It's just like the nicotine concentration is so high that it's one of those things that it takes like a second or two for me to get back to where I normally am. Braylon Dennis, thank you for the donation, says, Lions playing a lot better. Kyle Allen is dealing right now. Absolutely. Kyle Allen is looking exactly like what the Lions need at a backup quarterback right now, running the offense, doing so very efficiently and very consistently. But yeah, it's one of those things with vaping is like, everyone thinks, oh, vaping's whatever. Well, here's the thing. What most people won't tell you is that depending upon the nicotine concentration within the vape juice that you use, whether it's, something like this, which is a refillable pod or a refillable, the word is escaping me right now, but a refillable, refillable pod, refillable, chamber, or if you get one of the disposable ones, depending upon the concentration of nicotine, will really make an impact as far as what kind of, impact it's going to have on you. Because this concentration that I have right here, I think is 25 to 30 milligrams of nicotine. And that is, I think, the highest that I've ever been able to find. And, it just absolutely, it gives a kick. But the call on the field is confirmed. It is a 1st and goal for the Lions. Allen in the gun, rolls to the right, throws it, gets it to the man, touchdown on the throw. Kyle Allen with his 2nd touchdown of the night, gets it to Meeks, easy pitch and catch. Lions now are up by 7. Well, soon to be 7 after Jake Bates tacks on the extra point. So Kyle Allen has now added 2 touchdowns to his repertoire, while, Hendon Hooker has added 2 fumbles. Brendan asks a really interesting question. He says, you and Derek still get along. Why don't you guys collab with him in videos? So, kick is up and good from Jake Bates. Lions are now up by 7. Here's what I'm going to say. Yes, me and Derek are still good friends. Like I said, I have his number. We do talk occasionally through text. But the answer as to why we have not done a collaboration on one of his videos or live streams is because, honestly, it's never really come up. It's never really been something that we've discussed. I'm not averse to it. I have no aversion to doing a live stream with him and talking about it. Personally, I think it would be a really good thing. The fact that I was on Lions Talk Live with Coach Dan Thornton, I thought that was great. 10, 15-minute segment, talking about the previous week, the Hall of Fame game, my thoughts on that. I thought that was really, really nice of Coach Dan, and I appreciated it. And I have no problem, going on, Derek's live stream. It's just never something that's come up. And I'm not the type of person to force my way into the conversation. I'm not the person to, bring it up as a suggestion. If Derek wants me on the show, he can ask me, and I'll more than happily get on the show with him. And, we can talk all, you want about Lions football. You can ask questions to me. You can ask, questions to Derek while we're on the show. You can reach out to him, ask him about it. And who knows, maybe we can work something out as far as, me showing up on a live stream with him. I have no problem with it. I honestly have, how do I put this? I have almost no problem with joining any Lions podcast as a podcaster, as a live streamer. There's literally only one podcaster right now that I wouldn't join. And the reason I won't join is because the one interaction that I had with him in person, he was very rude. He was very inhospitable and completely ignored me. I'm going to put this up. I appreciate that. Don't really get a lot of good comments from other fan bases, but you know what? I appreciate that, Brendan. I figured you were a Vikings fan when I saw that picture. And you know what? I hold no reservations. I hold no, animosity towards other teams. The only time I do is typically when Packers or Bears fans will start crying or whining and saying I'm being unfair. And it's like, you know what? I try my best to be fair. I try my best to, give even-handed, coverage of everything. But you know what? It is what it is. Dean, I'll say this. If Woodward Sports was to invite me onto a live stream, I would go on it depending upon who I was doing it with. There's one guy from Woodward Sports that if he were to ask me, I'd absolutely do it. One guy. But if it was others, I would have some reservations. But back to the game, Falcons snap it, play action throw, and the throw comes in low. They're going to rule it a catch, but at the moment, we haven't gotten a look to see if he actually got underneath the ball to secure the catch yet or not. B says, I like Derek, but he went to a dark place for a bit there. I thought you explained the loss the best, Dave. I mean, again, I know what you're talking about because I've heard it from other people that watch both me and Derek's content, and some people say that Derek gets a little emotional about certain topics. I know I myself do, and I know a lot of people have had issues with how Derek has been in regards to the whole edge rushing situation and, other things. But it's like, listen, everybody has their things that, get them all riled up. I know exactly what it does. I know exactly what that is for me. It's, when anybody disrespects the Lions in general with idiotic thought processes, or if they disrespect Jared Goff and, they can't freaking formulate a sentence. Well, I definitely appreciate that, Bo. I definitely appreciate that. I think the better analogy you would get at, Jay, would probably be Batman, because Batman's more of a loner. Spider-Man, he has a very strong connection to Iron Man. Just saying. Bees, I'm not going to say I hate Woodward. I definitely have a strong disdain towards certain podcasters that get on there, but I don't hate Woodward Sports. It's just that there are certain guys that get on there that it's like, listen, it's like I've listened to them and they're flip-floppers. They're absolutely flip-floppers. And the one thing that I detest more than anything, other than somebody just, is an absolute idiot or won't speak the truth on certain things, is somebody who's, oh yeah, you know what, I'm really high on this person, and then you know what, they absolutely completely flip-flop, and within the next day or two, oh, you know what, no, I don't like this guy, or within a week or two. And it's like, dude, weren't you just literally saying the exact opposite about what you're saying now just like a week or two ago? So, I mean, again, like I said, there's only one podcaster, one, that I would have to hear a formal apology or recognition from, and we would have to have a serious conversation before I would actually decide going on his show. And that podcaster doesn't know directly who they are because, like I said, we never actually had a, in-depth conversation, but trust me, you guys would know who it was if I was to actually tell you. And back to the game, Falcons offense is in and snaps the ball, hands the ball off to the running back, and the running back is going to pick up a solid 8 yards. And the refs are definitely blowing the whistle heavy, and it looks like there is a Falcons player down that is injured because the Falcons training crew is coming out there. And it is Maurice. No, it's actually a Lions player that's down. It's Maurice Norris, number 26 of the Lions. And both the Lions and Falcons training crew are out there, and the Lions have already brought out the backboard. So it would appear that this is a pretty serious injury. But, yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem going on most anybody's podcast. I've gone on smaller podcasts for live streams. I've gone on bigger podcasts for live streams. I don't have a problem going on live streams. I absolutely have no problem. In fact, sometimes I enjoy it. I really, really do. And I think it's actually, more fun than doing, the regular podcasts that I do. But like I said, there's only one podcaster out there that I won't go on because of how rude and disrespectful he was to me when I met him the one time that I did in person. And without specifically naming who he was, I'll just specifically tell you exactly what happened. Nick Wright's not a Lions fan, so no, not going to even go there, Nick Burton. But what happened was I was at Lions training camp back in 2022. It was the end of one practice, and I actually walked over and I was talking with Jared Goff's personal trainer, and me and him were having a conversation. I'm friends with both him and his sister, and we were having a conversation, and then this podcaster who apparently, Goff's trainer knew, he just comes up and just starts talking to him. Does not acknowledge me, does not say hi, does not say my name is, nice to meet you or anything. He just completely ignores me. Does not acknowledge my presence, just completely acts like I'm not even there. And he's there for about a good, 3-4 minutes. And after he had finished his conversation with Goff's trainer, he just walked away. Didn't say a word to me. Completely ignored my presence, as if I wasn't there, I wasn't worth his time, and I wasn't even worth a hi, bye, my name is, or anything. And I was like, oh, okay. That's how we're going to play this. That's how we're going to treat people. So I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? I take that as a sign of disrespect. I take that as a sign of being very rude. And getting back to the play in which Norris got hurt, it looks like it is a head injury or a neck injury, because on the play when he tried to tackle the Falcons player, his head and neck violently, swung back. So the fact that they've got the backboard out there and they've got the, they've got the card out there, that's not good for Norris at all. But getting back to what I was saying about that one podcaster that I wouldn't go on, I just felt very disrespected. I felt that, even though I was new to the podcasting scene, yes, Braylon, it was one of our players. It was not a Falcons player. I got that wrong at first. It's Norris, number 26 for the Lions. He's the one that got hurt. But no, with that one podcaster, I felt very disrespected, and I felt that, even though I was new to the scene, he at the very least, he should have acknowledged that I was there. At the very least. I'm not saying he needed to, give me some undue praise or say something or other or whatever, but just acknowledging that I was there rather than completely ignoring me and, being the way he was. It's just like, I've never forgot that. I've never forgotten that, that act of immaturity from that particular podcaster. And until, that podcaster, talks to me about it and, tries to work through it with me and, I get an apology or something of a semblance to it, I will not do any work with him because he was absolutely rude. Dean DeGreer says that that for Maurice Norris that they're bringing out the ambulance for him, so they're not going to take him out on the they're not going to take him out on the cart. They're going to be taking him out on an ambulance. So that's not good at all. So hope and pray that, Norris is okay, whatever the case might be. But whenever you see an ambulance come out for a player, it's never good. Dean DeGreer says that he saw intubation equipment, which typically if you're seeing intubation equipment, that usually is not a good sign because it means the player is either struggling to breathe or is not breathing at all. So not good. Not good at all. So definitely prayers for Norris's health, prayers for his safety, and hopefully his recovery. So can definitely see the concern on Campbell's face. Right now, he's talking with Raheem Morris, the head coach for the Falcons. And, I mean, you never want to see a player get hurt. Never, ever want to see a player get hurt. I don't care who it is. You never want to see a player get hurt. But it's especially worse when, the game has to stop for a prolonged period of time because a player is absolutely, seriously injured. So... And Dean, I don't think they're going to stop the game or call the game over this because I'm going to be honest. The only reason the last time the game got stopped was because, number one, the game had just started, and I know what you guys all know what game I'm referring to. I'm talking about the game between the Bills and the Bengals, and the fact that Damar Hamlin was actually dead on the field, that also really held that impact over it. So I don't know how serious the injury is. The fact that, the ambulance is out there, they put an intubation tube or an intubation machine, definitely highlights and signals the severity of the injury. Yes, they did do that for Damar Hamlin. Bunny, it didn't happen a couple of years ago to us. It happened to the Buffalo Bills. What had happened is Damar Hamlin was trying to make a tackle, and the guy that he tackled hit him directly in the chest, and his heart stopped beating. I wouldn't call it a freak play, but it was an incident where, because of the angle in which, Hamlin got hit during the tackle and because of, how it went down, that it really shocked the NFL and it really shocked the players. I don't know if that's going to happen here because I don't know the extent of the injury that Norris is having, but it's really... So apparently what's happened is nobody knows the extent of the injury. Nobody knows about, any movement from Maurice Norris, but Campbell addressed the team and they were all huddled together, but it does not look like they're stopping the game because the players are returning to the sidelines. They're not going to the locker room. But it looks like the players are coming out on the field to have some sort of a prayer moment for their teammate. But as of right now, no update on Norris's injury, his condition. But as it sounds right now, with the players on the sideline, they it looks like the game is going to continue. But again, you don't necessarily have to believe in God. You don't necessarily have to, have faith, but just a respect for the player, respect for the team, respect for the sacrifice that these guys go through, and making sure that all these players are taken well care of, and that they're safe. And the ambulance is currently driving off the field. So don't know, again, what's going on with Maurice Norris. But prayers for him, prayers for his family, and, hope that he's able to recover. It's not anything life-threatening or potentially serious as far as, going to affect him long-term. But, you just hope and pray that Norris is okay and that everything will turn out okay. But yeah, you don't like to see that at all. You don't like to see that at all. So the game is going to resume. 2nd and 2 for the Falcons offense. And I'm not sure what exactly is happening here, but the play clock went down to 0. It looks like they snapped the ball, but I don't know if there was a timeout called, if the refs didn't actually start or restart the clock. But the clock is currently running, even though the play clock has expired. A lot of the reports at the moment are potentially that there is a clock issue and they're trying to get it figured out. And the Falcons and Lions players on the field are coming in for a prayer circle to pray for Norris's health and obviously his recovery and that he's okay. An important moment here, I would say, in national television, where faith is not often expressed on television. But it's good to see that, these players are taking the, impact of what's happened to Norris with such seriousness. But I am very, very happy at, what these players are doing by expressing, the brotherhood and the love that they have for each other, even though they're on opposite ball clubs. We have not heard yet if the game is being called, but as time continues to go by, it would appear that that might be the case, because the players are, kind of, Jake Bates is over there on the sideline praying by himself. So according to the on-field reporter, Jen Hale, she says that right now the Falcons personnel are packing up whiteboards and emptying water bottles. So it would appear that this game is being called, but there has been no official word from the NFL if the game is being called or not. But at the current moment, we're kind of all just, sitting here and, waiting to see what the NFL's official ruling is going to be. The refs are having a conference, it looks like, on the field. Campbell's on the sideline, on a knee, appearing to pray. I do think that this game is going to be called because Hockley has talked with Morris, and now he's talking with Campbell, and it looks like that pretty much what Hockley is pretty much telling them is that the game is probably going to be called, and they're probably going to stop the game and just leave it as it is. So it just came across from Hockley. The game is being suspended from New York, which means the NFL is stopping play, and the game is going to stop where it currently is at. So technically it is a win for the Lions, but nobody cares about the fact that it's a win. Nobody cares about the score. All anybody cares about is the health, wellness, and well-being of Maurice Norris. And I can guarantee you this, that much like what happened a few years ago with Damar Hamlin, this is going to be a unprecedented and powerful moment in the NFL because, again, you have the players standing up for themselves. You have the players sending a message that, you know, their teammates, their brothers are more important than a game. And I honestly have to say this. I don't think I have ever been more proud of our Detroit Lions because it's like, you know, they absolutely made the right decision. They absolutely made the humane decision. And, you know, again, being a man of faith of my own, they made the godly decision. They really did because, you know, at the end of the day, it's just football, folks. You know, we can get all amped up about football and we can be all whatever about it. But at the end of the day, you know, it's just a football game. More games will be played as time goes by, but players are, you know, they're irreplaceable as human beings. So I am very I'm finding it very difficult to find the right words. I really am. I feel an immense sense of pride and satisfaction at how both the Lions and the Falcons have handled this situation because they absolutely, you know, they absolutely are a class act. Absolutely have earned my respect as a team, as an organization. And, you know, how this game ended, one of the worst ways you ever want to see it end, but how the players reacted, how the players, you know, they came together on the football field, and despite the fact they're on different ball clubs, despite the fact they're wearing different jerseys and everything else, they came together and they acted as one unit, and that unit is humanity. That unit is humankind. And that is, I think, the true defining hope of humanity is that, you know, what is more important than winning is who you are and what you do in moments of great adversity. And I think that is a true credit to not only the players as individuals, but it's also a true credit to the leadership of both ball clubs, of both organizations, because Raheem Morris has made sure that his players are respectable. Dan Campbell has done the same. And, you know, these players, they showed a sense of honor in that, you know what, while we might, you know, put on pads and we might go out and do battle out on a field and, you know, we're competing for a win, what ultimately matters at the end of the day is winning the game of life. That's the only game that matters, is winning the game of life. And like I said, it's a very heavy and very complex, you know, mixture of emotions right now, because you're very concerned, you're very worried, you're very fearful for, you know, Maurice Norris. But at the same time, you can't help but feel pride and, you know, respect on such a profound and deep level, like what the Lions and the Falcons players and organizations did. And again, it's just, you know what, it's moments like this when, trying to find the right words is impossible, because there is no words that you can describe for this. There is no, words that can be put out in any language, because this type of language that we're talking about is an unspoken language. It is a language of love. It's a language of honor. It's a language of respect. It's not one that you can speak into words. You can only speak with actions. So, I'm going to do something that I've never done before. And I hope not to offend anybody, but, I feel compelled. I feel compelled. Heavenly Father, with all of your knowledge, and with all of your grace, and with everything that you've provided to humanity, I call upon you today to watch over Maurice Norris and to watch over his family, who are obviously going through a very tough time. I call upon you to provide comfort. I call upon you to provide your healing hands and expertise to those who are going to provide care for him. I also ask that you would watch over, both teams, their players, and that you would ensure that they are given comfort and that they are able to be with their teammate, their brother, and that above all else, that Maurice Norris would be given that most wonderful gift that you have given all of humanity, which is life. And that he would be the biggest winner from this matchup tonight. And that he would be able to continue his journey, not only as a player, but as a human. And that you would just watch over this whole situation, Lord. And that you would, with your guiding hand and wisdom, find the best outcome in which you bring people together in a united front to move forward. I ask this in your name, Lord. Amen. Wow. Never did that before. But it's also kind of interesting how as soon as I opened my eyes, this was the first thing I saw. The funny thing is I know this guy's a Bears fan, because I've seen this guy make comments on my videos about the Bears in the past. No words. No words whatsoever. No words whatsoever for that behavior. The only word I can think of is classless. Tilla, I would definitely say this is very much like, Damar Hamlin. Don't know the severity of the injury to Maurice Norris, but it is serious, and it is potentially life-threatening, potentially life-altering. Obviously, for all fans, at least for self-respectable ones anyway, everybody's going to be praying and watching for updates over Maurice Norris's health, his condition, and hopefully he comes out okay. Hopefully he is able to continue on, being able to not only provide for himself, provide for his family, but to be able to enjoy the immense gifts that God has given him. But anyway, folks, I kind of find myself at a loss here because I don't know which is more prudent, is to end the stream and allow everybody their own space, or continue to hold this open as a platform of healing, hope, encouragement, prayer. It's a very interesting place to be as a podcaster. It really is. It's not one that you ever want to be in, and hopefully one I'm never going to have to be in is again. And it's very ironic. It really is. It's very ironic. The situation and that you find yourself in, because there are just times you don't know what to say. But I think what I'm going to do is I am going to probably call the stream, and if anything should happen to come up, obviously I can resume the stream and go from there. I'll try to keep you guys updated with what information, obviously, that, comes out. Continue to offer my own personal thoughts and prayers for Norris's safety and well-being, and, go from there. But we'll see what information we can find out, whether it's from the NFL itself, whether it's from Coach Campbell, whether it's from team doctors, physicians, whatever the case might be. But right now, that's definitely where everybody's thoughts, everybody's mind, everybody's prayers should be at. Because, again, that's the only game that matters, which is the game of life. Nico put this up, and thank you for the donation, by the way, but I'm going to read this. He put up scripture verse of Matthew 4:24. Scripture says this. It says, "News about him spread all over Syria, and people brought to him all who were ill with various diseases, those suffering severe pain, the demon-possessed, those having seizures, and the paralyzed, and he healed them." And again, I am a firm believer in Christ. And I have faith that God can do anything that he so chooses to do. And I believe that whatever God allows, he allows it to happen for a reason. I believe that whatever comes of this, it will be in some manner or shape or form to have some sort of an impact of good for, the teams, the players, something. I don't know. Again, that's what makes God and me just an absolute, imperfect human. God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and, omniscient. He's all knowing, all seeing, and everywhere. So, I don't know what the plan or the purpose is for this, but I believe that whatever is going to happen, that God is going to use it to provide good. And again, hope, prayers, thoughts are with Maurice Norris and his family. But like I said, I'm going to end the stream here, and we'll like I said, if anything comes up that's of a important nature, I'll pull up the stream. Depending upon what time it is, I do realize that, even though I don't have to work tomorrow, I'm obviously not going to do something if, something comes up at noon or sorry, not noon, midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. But if anything important does come up, I will make sure that first thing tomorrow morning that I push it out, whether it's, either a pre-recorded podcast or a live stream, one or the other. But very, very difficult night. Very, very emotional night. But anyway, folks, until the next time we meet, whenever that is, again, thoughts and prayers to the Lions and the Falcons teams and their organizations, and thoughts and prayers for Maurice Norris and his family. And until that time, God bless, my friends, and hope you all have a good night. And I'll talk to you again as soon as I possibly can. Thank you.